Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have my first impressions of the Civivi Elementum. This is a knife I really wanted to get a review out very quickly of because a lot of you guys were very eager for me to do that. You expressed so in emails and messages and all kinds of things and on the live shows and all that. Thank you very much to White Mountain Knives for getting this out to me so very quickly. WhiteMountainKnives.com. If you go there right now and use the code SDWMK at checkout, you can get 10% off. And what would you be getting 10% off of if you chose to purchase this knife? You can use the code on anything, but if you bought this, $63.75 for this version with the wood handles. There's also a piano black wood handle version for the same price, or if you opt for the less expensive G10 version, only $50, $50.15 if you want to be precise. That is very, very inexpensive for a very nice Civivi, especially this is a D2 blade Civivi. They're usually well over 60. $50 is a pretty darn good deal. And you get another 10% off, and you can use that code all you want. So yeah, that makes it $45. $45 for a D2 Civivi is a pretty darn good deal. You have a lot of the usual Civivi traits. Very minimal billboarding, almost none actually. You have just the Civivi logo on the pivot, and again, they're so good at hiding the steel markings. You have to look for it. D2. I found it very quickly, but I will admit I found it very quickly because a couple of other people I know, other YouTubers, picked these up at Blade Show before it had a name, and I know JT's Knife Life already did a video on it, and I cheated. I knew where it was, but usually it's kind of a fun little game with Civivis. Find the steel marking. It is kind of a more gentlemanly looking Civivi. I hesitate to use the word gentlemanly because I already know I'm going to get in comments, and we're going to try to avoid that right off the bat here, because I've already seen in comments when they started showing this knife and when other people have reviewed it, oh, it's just a copy of the Mass-Drop Gent. It isn't. The Mass-Drop Ferrum Forged Gent. I have one right here. It really isn't. The only similarities they really have are they both have, especially this is a wood handle version as well, but they have that general wood over liner lock look, and you kind of basic drop point blades. Other than that, there are a whole lot of differences. The handle shapes are not even remotely similar. This is a much taller, more hand-filling sort of handle than what you get on the Gent. This is a much slimmer knife. This is a flat grind. You have a hollow grind, and with a swedge. There's no swedge, on the Ferrum Forge. There are a lot of differences. It's really just kind of, it's really just in the fact that you can get them in, and this also comes in G10. You get that kind of overlay look and a basic drop point shaped blade, and they're roughly the same size. Other than that, they're really not that similar at all, especially in hand. They don't feel at all similar. You have a forward choil on the Gent, you don't on the Civivi. I'm going to do a full comparison between the two, and we'll talk more about it, because I can't see why you would consider one over the other, absolutely, but I don't want to, I'm just trying to avoid all the comments about it's just a copy of the Gent, when it really isn't. When you see them side by side, not at all. They're not really that close. All right. Now, as far as stats and size comparisons go, let's get to that. You have an overall length of 7 inches, a blade length of 3 inches, blade thickness 0.12 inches, handle thickness of 0.43, and according to my scales, 2.65 ounces. I know that some places are listing them as 2.9. I think maybe the G10 one's heavier. I don't know, but the wood scale one anyway, 2.65, even 2.9. Very lightweight, easy to carry knife for absolutely sure. Now our size comparisons. Let's start out with our usual Spyderco sandwich. We have the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. As you see, it's not a terribly large knife. Not super small, but it's not a terribly big knife. And then let's compare it against one of its brethren here. And this is honestly where you can kind of see the design lineage here. This is the Civivi Duros. And yeah, it's kind of a slimmed down Duros is kind of the best way I would sort of describe it. They both have that hollow ground blade and everything. Get the forward choil on here, and much bulkier handle, but it's kind of a slimmed down Duros. You can kind of see where one begat the other a little bit. I don't know which one was designed in which order or whatever, but Yeah, and then lastly, let's just compare it to, since I have it out here, one of my favorite 3-inch knives, also a Spyderco, the Spyderco Sage 5. Very similar in overall length and whatnot to the Sage 5 for sure. Get a little more cutting edge on the Civivi. Now, as far as quality and stuff goes, it's the usual awesome Civivi-ness. It's it's got the really nice hardware they use, all T8 except the pockets, the pocket clip, which has recessed screws, which is really, really nice. I don't remember. Did the Durus have that as well? Yes, it did. So, yeah, I guess they've been doing that a little bit, and I just haven't noticed, but I did notice it on this. Nice recessed pocket screws. The clip itself is not recessed, but it's nice to see recessed screws. But those are only T6s on here. Everything else is T8. Very easy to take apart, very easy to maintain, all that stuff. The finish on the blade is really good. Lockup is excellent. Centering's excellent. All that stuff. This is being the nitpickiest nitpick because it's wood and it's a natural material. But yeah, there's one little, I guess you'd call it void in the wood, whatever you want to call that, imperfection in the wood. But that's wood. It's a natural material. That's going to happen. So that is the tiniest of nitpicks as far as quality goes. You do get the usual Civivi stuff. Get the really nice box. The really nice pouch. I don't always open these up because it's always the same, but they did make a change, so it's not the same. So I'm opening it up. It comes with this picture of a zombie demon possessed owl, I guess. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it is a cool sticker. So it's nice that it comes with that. Remember, the basic version of this is $50, and you're getting all this stuff. That's pretty awesome. This is the usual Civivi box, by the way. The box isn't particularly special, but the pouch and stuff, that's pretty darn cool for $50. Very impressed by that. Now, let's talk more about this knife in specifics. The blade, hollow ground. I do really like that it's a hollow grind. It's about 18 thousandths behind the edge, which is great. But I do admit I'm spoiled. I kind of was expecting it to be even thinner behind the edge just because Civivi does that. I've reviewed a lot of Civivis lately that were like 14 or 15 thousandths behind the edge. 17, 18, still great. Don't get me wrong. I just kind of was expecting it to be even thinner. Spoiled. I know, spoiled brat. The 17, 18 is awesome. It is a really good slicer, super sharp out of the box. Nice hollow grind. Nice smooth finish on the blade that's not going to hold you up at all. Cut through anything. I hacked up some cardboard with it, and this morning, and because it's recycling day, and it was great. It worked really, really well. Great slicer. Tip is a bit fine. You're definitely not going to want to be doing anything super crazy with this, but I don't think that's kind of the market for this knife. I think if you want a 3-inch Civivi that you can do beefier stuff with, they make one. Just showed it to you. This one, not so much, but I think for just normal EDC tasks, it's outstanding. It's a really, really good blade. As far as ergonomics go, pretty good. I do have a couple of ergonomic flaws, but again, I'm nitpicking. But the jimping is awesome. I do love this jimping on top of the blade. It's just that right amount of almost being a bit sharp, so it definitely holds your thumb in, but it's not too sharp. It's very good. Now, I will say there's also jimping on the liner lock. I don't feel it when I squeeze on it really hard, but when I do squeeze on it really hard, it leaves a mark. So that may be an issue of, if you're using it for long periods of time. But yeah, it does leave a mark, but I don't really feel it. What I do feel this pocket clip a little bit. It's back here where it's nice and smooth and rounded off. So it's definitely not what I would call a hot spot, but you notice it. You notice that it's there for sure. I can always kind of feel it, but it does fill the hand very well. All 4 fingers fit on it totally fine. Again, I have pretty skinny fingers, but still, all 4 fingers fit on it just great. Can you choke up? Kinda, not really. It's not really meant to do that. It doesn't have a proper forward finger choil at all. That's really just a sharpening choil. I'm fine with that. It does give you a bit more blade length and all that stuff. Yeah, so the ergonomics are good. Not great, but good. And there's enough other stuff to like about this knife that doesn't really bother me much. One of the things I like about this knife is the carry, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. What a coinkydink. Nice deep carry clip. As I said, the recessed screws, slides right in the pocket, super easy. Now, I don't have the G10 version here. Knowing Civivi, their G10 is usually not horribly aggressive. I'm sure it's going to slide in and out of the pocket just fine. I wouldn't worry about that too much. It's not going to be a pocket destroyer, but especially in this wood version, Slides in and out great. That flipper tab is very minimalist. You hardly notice that it's there, which is really nice. The pocket clip is angled correctly, so that's not a problem. I do like that about it. And if you are a lanyard person, it does have a lanyard hole. A pretty good one, actually. I like the way they did it. Just, cut out those overlays a little bit and put a hole in there. That's good. I don't mind lanyard holes as long as they don't ruin my day. I'm not a lanyard guy, but as long as you're not in my way, you are permitted to exist. It is right hand tip up only. I was kind of surprised by that. Civivis are almost always ambidextrous carry. This one is not. So keep that in mind if you're a lefty. Sorry, that's not going to work for you. As far as the deployment goes, it's a Civivi. Do I even need to do this? The D10's perfect. It's a Civivi. I feel like a broken record, but Civivi is really good on the D10s, and this is no exception. Rockets right out. This is fairly new. It's not drop shutty yet. I've only had it for a day. You can definitely shake it closed. I haven't taken it apart and relubed it or anything like that. Well, I took it apart, but I didn't relube it or clean it or anything. I just took it apart to make sure I could and put it back together. But yeah, nice snappy sound, nice snappy action. This little minimalist flipper tab works very well. The jimping is placed perfectly on it. No complaints there. Pretty easy to get to the liner. As again, I said, it's jimped like that. You do have to shove the fat of your thumb in there just a little bit, but it's not bad. Yeah, so it works great. No complaints about the deployment at all. I think it's very, very good. So as far as my conclusions go, it's $63.75 for this wood version. I think it's a really good value. For the basic $50 version, it's a freaking steal. I mean, that's like, wow, that's very inexpensive. I kind of wish I got in the piano black, but it's only because, as you saw, my Ferrum Forged Gent has similar colored scales. So I probably should got the piano black, but that's my own stupidity. The wood is nice. And like I said, this wood on this one is not perfect. Maybe it might just be one out of because it's wood, but it don't feel bad if you get the G10 one. It looks almost exactly the same. It said gray and black G10, $50. That's pretty outrageous. I really surprised it was that inexpensive. I highly recommend this knife, especially if you want a sort of gentlemanly sort of carry on a budget. It's this one's going to be hard to beat in that category because a Ferrum Forged Gent is not expensive, but they're up 100 and 120 now or something like that. So yeah, twice the price for a G10 Ferrum Forged Gent. So yeah, this is going to be pretty tough to beat. Pretty tough to beat. I will be doing comparison between those two, but just comparing it to other kind of gents knives in this sort of price range, this is a darn good one. Highly recommend you go check it out. And again, if you go to whitemountainKnives.com, it's even cheaper. SDWMK at checkout. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.